Hello, YouTube. Time again for another predictions review for this season of NASCAR 2018. As you can see, I just finished watching the AFC Championship game. Go Pats! And I'm about to watch the other game, Eagles versus Minnesota. That should be a fun matchup. But without further ado, I have 5 predictions for the Truck Series, 5 for the Xfinity Series, and 10 for the Monster Energy Cup Series, plus 2 bonus predictions. All right, so position number 1, there will be a flip. This is for the Truck Series. Position number 1 for the Truck Series is that there will be a flip at either Daytona or Talladega. Position number 2, sometime this season, NASCAR will announce that there will be further restrictions as to how many races that Cup Series drivers can run in the Xfinity and Truck Series. And as a result, Kyle Busch holds true to his promise and announces that 2018 will be the final season for Kyle Busch Motorsports in the Truck Series. That is probably my boldest prediction of all of them. Prediction number 3: the closest margin of victory will be at Michigan International Speedway. So yeah, that's kind of an obvious pick for margin of victory. Prediction number 4 is my chase field for the Truck Series for this season. It will be Matt Crafton, Johnny Sauter, Ben Rhodes, Noah Gragson, Grant Enfinger, Dalton Sargent, Justin Haley, and Cody Coughlin. Obviously, if Brad Keselowski Racing was still in operation, those 2 drivers probably would take the place of a couple of drivers on that list. But anyways, my final 4 at Homestead will be Crafton, Sauter, Rhodes, and Gragson, with Crafton winning the championship for the first time since 2014. All right, so moving on to the Xfinity Series. My first prediction is that Ryan Reed will win another plate race, whether it be the Daytona race again or Talladega. He will win at least one plate race. Prediction number 2. Ryan Preece, the part-time driver for Joe Gibbs Racing, will have more top 5s, more wins, and more top 10s than his full-time teammate, Brandon Jones. Prediction number 3. Most of the races this season will be won by Cup drivers. Despite the restrictions put in place by NASCAR, I still think Cup drivers are still going to dominate. Position number 4, my chase field will be Cole Custer, Christopher Bell, Tyler Reddick, Ryan Truex, which is actually Martin Truex's brother, Elliott Sadler, Justin Allgaier, Ryan Reed, Daniel Hemrick, Matt Tifft, Michael Annett, Kaz Gralla, and actually Brandon Jones. Yeah, even though he gets less, impressive stats than Ryan Preece, he probably still will make the chase. My final 4 will be Custer, Bell, Reddick, and Sadler, with Cole Custer being the champion. Why am I picking Custer over Bell? I think it will come down to those 2 drivers, but Custer has more experience in Xfinity Series. Plus, last season, he destroyed the field at Homestead. He was just unbelievable. Anyways, I'm moving on to my Monster Energy Cup Series predictions. I have 2 picks for the Daytona 500 winner. One is a driver who I think will win, and the other, to kind of play a game on, just a randomness of plate racing. I went to an online kind of like random name picker, ran it 10 times to see, if any drivers, were picked, the most times. Since no duplicates were picked in those 10 times, I just went into, a name that's duplicated. So the driver I think will win the Daytona 500 is Joey Logano. Obviously, Brad Keselowski and Logano have been great on the plate tracks, and Brian Blaney hasn't been a slouch either. Penske's going to be very strong. A random generator actually picked AJ Allmendinger. Oh well. That I don't think will happen. If this was a road course, then maybe swap them. Position number 2, Chevy will get more wins this year compared to last year. I think their new car they're going to be using, the Camaro, it's going to be better aerodynamically. Will compete better with the Toyotas. They'll do a lot better. Position number 3, at least one race this year will feature a flip. It could be anywhere. Position number 4 is another bold one. Kurt Busch re-signed with Stuart Haas Racing for a 1-year deal. I say at the end of the season he retires, and his replacement will be Cole Custer. So Kurt Busch will retire at the end of this season. Position number 5, Chase Elliott finally wins the race. Position number 6, Martin Truex Jr. will win at least 5 races, while Jimmy Johnson will have 2 or less wins this season. Position number 7, for this season they changed the way the Rookie of the Year is awarded. Before it was very complicated. It had to do with your best selection set of races. Uh, Most notably, Ryan Newman had less wins and finished lower in the points than Jimmy Johnson in 2002, but yet still won Rookie of the Year. Well, now it's based on where you finish in the standings, and with that in mind, in either Rookie of the Year uh, format, my pick will be William Byron. Just as a side note, Alex Bowman is not eligible for Rookie of the Year. He actually ran for Rookie of the Year in 2014, but back then he was running, I think, with BK Racing, Burger King Racing. Anyways, William Byron will be the Rookie of the Year this year. Not to say that Bubba Wallace won't have a good year, but I think William Byron will have the edge, especially because he's driving for Hendrick and Bubba will be driving for Richard Petty Motorsports. Position number 8. This will be very popular with those users on Reddit. Matt DiBenedetto will have a top 5 finish this year. Position number 9 is my chase field for the 2018 Monster Energy Cup season. It will be Jay McMurray, Brad Keselowski, Kevin Harvick, Chase Elliott, Denny Hamlin, Brian Blaney. Ricky Stenhouse Jr. will probably get in on the plate race win. Kyle Busch, Daniel Suarez, Eric Jones, Logano will get back in. William Byron, Kyle Larson, Jimmy Johnson, Martin Truex Jr., and Alex Bowman. And the final 4 on position will be Harvick, Kyle Busch, Kyle Larson, and Truex Jr. And I think Kyle Busch will be the champion. So Kyle Busch being the champion in the final 4 is position number 10. That's not to say that none of the other chase drivers have a chance for the winning the chase, or I should say the playoff. Especially if Larson gets in the top 4. I mean, he's been very strong at Homestead, but maybe Kyle Busch gets fired up after barely losing the championship with Truex Jr. this past season. He might just really come out strong this year. My 2 bonus predictions. I originally was only going to do one. It was going to be Burger King Racing will go kaput. However, pretty much right before I started thinking about predictions and whatnot, there's been a lot of articles about their stuff being seized, their stuff being auctioned off. I don't even think at this point they're even going to make Daytona, but they could still make it like they had in the past couple of years. But I think this year will be the final year for BK Racing. And the other one is NASCAR went to a kind of like a crate spec engine type thing. I think it's going to cause more engine issues because teams have to reuse motors without fiddling with them and stuff like that. So yeah, more engine issues this year. Anyways, those are my predictions for this year. Take care and have a good one.